I spent 5 years making a documentary that pretty much no one will ever see. And sadly, that is not an uncommon story. I want you to learn from my mistakes, so when you make your next documentary, you can make something enjoyable, viewable, and, could you imagine, profitable. Okay, we're here for the final episode, the bonus episode, just like before with the Tucson music documentary, A Techno Tragedy. I think I never said the name, which is very funny. I'm going to look at some footage from the new documentary I'm working on, titled Good Cake at the moment, working title. I spoke a little bit about it, but now let's look at some of the footage. You'll see compared to the Tucson documentary, this is worlds apart. I had a lot of things figured out for this. There are a couple things I didn't have figured out, which I'll talk about as we go through. But let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Okay, so let's hop in to the folder. We're just looking at raw transcodes. Like I told you, I would take the raw C200 files, which are CRW, whatever it is, bring it into DaVinci, put my own LUT that's like a specific film color thing that I like on it, and then I'd export it at 1080 just to have to edit with, which is so much easier to edit with. And then I have those raw files backed up in 2 different places if and when I need to reference them. So let's hop in. So we're going to go by date here. I mentioned before the very first thing I shot, December 13, 2023. So winter of 2023. I go to Ridley's, Mark Ridley's in Royal Oak, Michigan. She was doing this like competition. It was like you have, was it 2 minutes? I think it was 2 minutes or maybe a minute. I don't know what it was, but it was like you literally go on stage. You have like a minute or less, I think it was, to tell some jokes, and then they ring a bell and you get off, and then they vote for the winner. So as you can see, just look at this already, the C200. Here Amber is on stage telling some jokes. I mean, just the footage already just looks so much better. This is that kind of film LUT that I like. I've kind of built in DaVinci that I apply to everything. I shoot with it as well. I monitor with it. But yeah, just, oh man, beautiful. A lot of behind the scenes stuff with her backstage, establishing shots. At this point I'm using the Canon servo zooms so I can go in and out, as you'll see. Like, it's so much of a better situation that I'm in this time. I know to get so much more establishing shots, and as you can see, like, I'm talking to her a lot, like all the personal stuff that I missed in the first documentary, getting weird stories about garbage cans and stuff. Like, she works for a company she worked at the time for a company that sold, I mean, just look at the bokeh on that, like, and it definitely, like, my vision for this documentary it has to be way more cinematic. It's still my style of like run and gun, candid, always on the shoulder, but with the zooms, I just feel so much more comfortable with zooms. And I can find the shot. Like, look at that. I can just find the shot with the zoom so much easier. And although these are, you can tell a little bit here with this low light, the zooms are 4.5 or 4.4, whatever it might be. So not the best in low light, especially with the C200. Now you're seeing all this grain here, a lot of chroma noise, which is okay though. I mean, that's the beauty of documentary. That guy had his shirt off. But yeah, that is the beauty of documentary, is like, this is okay. You don't have to add lights. Like, whatever is natural to the scene, people are going to be cool with as long as it looks decent, and this does. And I'm just very happy with how all this footage looks. I did show Amber like a full, I think it was like 10-minute teaser. But like, she saw a lot of this. And like I said, you should be kind of bringing them along the way. Like, I mean, yeah, establishing shots of the house, and this is that day I told you about, like playing with the dog and like being in the house with the dog and interacting with the dog. That's a huge part of the story. And so, always baking. That's at her place, so that's different. I mean, again, at the comedy club, like, I mean, just look at this shot. I remember this shot. This is a good one. Her in the hallway. Where did I get her? What did I get her in the hallway? Yeah, that's the theater. Just getting any coverage I could need, and that's also something I didn't do the best at the first time around with the Tucson documentary. yeah, look at how great this is. Just the blue and purple light, like good grain to it. I mean, all of this is good stuff. And then we went across the border, like that's great. Went to Windsor, did all the stuff in the car. Like again, like filling in the gaps of just like not just interviewing her and showing her on stage, like just filling in the gaps of her interacting with people and oh yeah, look, all this great stuff. Here we go with some of the baking stuff. So this is that kitchen I was telling you about. Great light coming in, looks natural, looks great. You've got that tungsten and daylight, mix. I love that. I love mixed lighting. It just this and look at the outfit she's wearing. It's so cute and we're talking the whole time. And then what I didn't mention though is you'll see this around. Here we go. Where is it? Yeah, her with the dog on the couch. Here we go. I sat her down. I did ultimately sit her down at the table. Yeah, because look at the date. It's January 2024. So it's like a a month later and it just look at it. It's great. Like with the K, it's a great shot, great composition. But she does kind of start talking about emotional stuff. I have her taste the cake. That's where the title comes from. Yeah, I mean, just looking at, I mean, this is 16 by 9. I've been looking at this 4 by 3 for a long time. So, the shot really is just here somewhere in terms of the framing of it. But great stuff. I got a lot in those 2 or 3 months of filming with her, and we really figured out what we were doing. Here we go. We jumped to July. So from January to July, there obviously a lot has happened. Different time of the year. Going to her shows. We're figuring out the narrative here. She's back at the venue doing her stuff. Like, I mean, a lot has changed though. Like since January. So I'm getting all the show stuff, getting her interacting with friends and hanging out outside, all that kind of stuff. All that's great. And again, it was informed by the interview and what we wanted to see from the story. And so, yeah, so we're in July. We're doing different things. We're with the dog again. Here's that McDonald's thing I was telling you about. That was funny. I was on the phone with her and I was like, trying to tell her when to to walk up because like I wanted to do a slow zoom in and she needed to know when to basically walk up and sit down. So we were on the phone when I shot that. That was kind of funny. Yeah, playing with the dog, all this kind of stuff. Like, just look at how great this footage, like the greens and like, oh, this camera alone is so much better. And I've upgraded the C200 since then into an even better sensor. But the C200 is kind of like the new version of the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema cameras. It's so cheap and it has such an incredible sensor that just the look is so specific. Like this beautiful Canon RAW. With the new camera that I have, I don't even shoot RAW because it does 12-bit 4K external. I've never recorded to a card ever internal. I'm not going to waste my money on that. So yes, we did a bunch in July. And then this cabin stuff, like, look at this beautiful shot in the morning, foggy morning. We go to this cabin, this beautiful cabin in Michigan. You got the lake, you've got the beach, like, you got her with the dog, like all of this great stuff. And this is when I came back, this is July 16, 2024. Like, oh yeah, so yeah, that's perfect. So yeah, that makes sense. So this is all the stuff that I came back for. So July 2024 is when I came back to Michigan, which that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we did 5 shoots. Oh no, just 4. Yep, we did 5 shoots. So that's the point is like, and here we are at Hockey Town, her doing another set, which is great because this is more traditional stage. So this is going to be, great to be able to use a lot different looking footage. I did use the Sigmas for this because it was so low light. So it does have a bit of a quality resolution decrease than the zooms because they are cheap, Sigma still lenses. But I knew I needed it to get down to at least 2.8, even 1.2 sometimes because it was so dark in here. But again, that's the point is I came back with all of these things in mind where I was like, we need to go to at least 2 or 3 shows. I think we did 3. We need to do this stuff with the dog. We need to do this stuff with the cabin. Like we need to finish the story. And that like I was saying earlier in the earlier episode, is reshoots happen when you're prepared. And so I knew what we were lacking. I knew what we needed. We had a conversation and I was like, can I come back and can we do this? And she was like, yes. So I learned so much. Like my Tucson documentary informed this one so much. But the one thing I couldn't figure out was that legal stuff, was the contract stuff. And so do not overlook that. I'm looking at this footage. I haven't looked at this footage in a long time. And I'm looking at this beautiful footage. Like, look at this. Like, look at that little streak of light. And there is just some exceptional footage in here that you would pay top dollar to get. But I finally had the right gear and the experience to get it. And I know how to color now. And so there is just some really good looking stuff in here that I don't want to bury. I don't want to put on the shelf. And so we're going to figure something out with this. I don't know what that's going to be, but we'll figure something out with this. The story needs to be told. Amber knows that. She wants it to be told. And this is just the nature of the drama of documentary filmmaking. And so that is what it is. This is it. This was it. This is the last episode. A little teaser for maybe something I'll talk about next with this documentary. But for now, I hope you learned as much as I could give you. I hope that there's something in these 10 episodes that I did wrong in my documentary filmmaking, that I did right in my documentary filmmaking, that you can take and carry with you into the next one, or for the one that you're working on right now. I thank you for listening. I'll take one more shot and I will leave you. Talk to you soon. Props.